Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCalSabre here, and it's another Saturday. So I can tell you what the sounds of the week were for me, for my vinyl albums and CDs that I listened to. It was an interesting week. We went from one spectrum to another, and I'll get to telling you about it here in about 1 second, as soon as I get the phone turned off before it makes a noise and the pull goes in. All right, we started off with an album by a group. This is my first time in my collection. I was surprised I got it at a pretty decent price, still in the shrink wrap from Whatnot. And it is Rust in Peace from Megadeth. See the reflection from the shrink wrap. This is a 2013 reissue of their 1990 album. It was their fourth studio album by the American thrash band. I don't have any thrash or doom in my concert collection till now, and this is ranked by some as their best album. Rust in Peace has often been named as one of the best thrash metal records of all time. Okay, wow. And at the 1991 Foundations Forum, the album received a Concrete Foundations Award for the top radio album, and the single Hangar 6 won the top radio cut award. Pretty cool. I know that my son Paul would have had this in his collection, but the ones I inherited from him, it wasn't in there. There's a nice inner on it. Really good shape. Well, it's a reissue, so hopefully it's going to be in good shape. So, but it's still 11-year-old reissue. I've been watching some auctions, and for the most part, the original albums by Megadeth have been going for some big dollars. It's on the Black Capital label, and of course in very good shape because of its age. It doesn't look like it was played very much at all. So that started off my week really thumping and rocking the house there with Rust in Peace by Megadeth. And then went in a little bit easier I can't say it was a little easier. I don't know which way I was going with this, but this is the first I got by these guys. I picked it up on Whatnot. I had never listened to them before. I'll probably never buy anything. Not that they're bad, but it was just a little too big, a little too doom metal or whatever you want to call it. Gothic metal, doom metal. And it was still in the shrink, and that's why I went for it also. And this was Dead Again by Type O Negative. It's a 2023 reissue of the 2007. They were gothic metal and doom metal. This was the seventh and final album by the goth band, released before the death of their frontman Peter Steele and the subsequent dissolving of the band. I see some of the reissues coming out. I think like there's one coming out on Record Store Day, but I won't be going that direction. I have Type O Negative in my collection now, and that is enough. What do we got inside here? Oh, this is a gatefold. I didn't know that, but I'm not going to open it, the gatefold up, because it's still in the shrink. I'll keep it that way. We did have an nice inner sleeve. So this started this week. It's pretty darn heavy. And then it's a 2 LP production. It's on some crazy colored wax. This is, you can't see it in there. It looks clear, but it's actually a translucent green. Let's see if you can see it any better on this side. No, you can't because of the light. But it is a translucent green with all of those etchings or whatever they splatter on them. Pretty cool looking vinyl. But I'm not too much into death metal, I found out. And so that was Dead Again by Typo Negative. It's the first one by this group in my collection. Most likely, unless somebody gives me one, the last one in my collection. I like hard rock, but I'm just not into that doom metal and stuff like that. Okay, and then we want to calm it down a little bit. Okay, calm it down a little bit. And I want to Genesis. Okay, and this is the 2014 reissue of the 1970 album, which was their fourth studio album by the English progressive rock band. And it features their longest song, the 23-minute track, Supper's Ready. Very prog. I like this a lot. Many have considered this to be their best album. Before I forget, I'll tell you a little picture about this. Here, the red dress and the fox's head. Well, from what I've read, because I never saw it in concert, and when they were out on tour, and on occasion during the tour, Peter Gabriel would put on a red dress and put a fox head on and come out on stage. That sounds like Peter, from what I know of him. And there's the insert, or the So as many of you have known, I was going into what I've been doing the last 4 or 5 years. I knew Genesis and the Phil Collins stuff from like the rock, I call it the radio hits of the 80s and that. But I wasn't real knowledgeable on their prog stuff that they did prior to that, the 80s and 70s. And I subsequently have got quite a few of them into the collection now, and I really do enjoy them. Kind of came in a nice polyline sleeve. Okay, into the sound. So midweek here, we got a lot of prog rock with Foxtrot, the 2014 reissue of the 72 album by Genesis. Good stuff. If you like prog rock, check it out on your streaming channels. So that kind of got the week tempered down a bit from those death metal and that stuff in the beginning of the week. So next I did is I went to an album I picked up at a local record store, based on how nice it was used at the record store, how nice the album was. And this is the 2017 reissue of the Beatles' 1967 Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. It was the 8th studio album by the English rock group. And Pepper's release was a defining moment in pop culture, heralding the album era and the 1967 Summer of Love, while its reception achieved full cultural legitimization for popular music. It's the first album to be released with the same track listing in both the UK and the US, and spent 27 weeks at #1 on the record retail chart. And it is a gatefold. And then the inside, there is some inners on here. Let's go. We got the psychedelic inner sleeve, which is in really good shape. And then we got these two things. One is was supposedly cutouts, where I guess people would cut these out, put them like the pictures out, all the different ones in the app. Okay, and then another inner with the Lonely Heart Club Band story here. written by McCartney. On the back we have some lyrics, I believe. No, it's just the cover story. Pretty cool stuff. I wasn't totally happy with I like the music. I really like the music on here. I wasn't totally happy with the quality of this. There's some spots on here. I give it a real clean, but there's a couple spots that did come off, and I did hear them on the album. So it really went into the psychedelic stuff. I don't think you can see the spots because of that light up there. But anyway, they were there. There's no real scratches. But there seemed to be a lot of popping. Now, this kind of led me to believe, should I get, like, there's being advertised now as an ultrasonic cleaner, down at a decent price, and it's getting pretty good reviews. It's decent, like about $110. I use a spin clean on these, and then I saw one guy that did a comparison between it and the spin clean. He says this would be the next step up, but price wise, he says the difference is almost negligible for between the two, using the spin clean and this one. So, but this would be the next step up because ultrasonic's the best. But I didn't pull a plug on it. Still debating on that. I do use my spin clean. Everything that goes into my collection gets spun clean once. All of the old stuff that's in my collection gets spun clean before I play it during this week. Okay, now it's time to get into our CDs for the week. And the first one that I listened to was Heart of Stone, the 1989 album by Cher. Yeah, I have a couple things by Cher in my collections. You know, this was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, you know, and if I could turn back time, just like Jesse, you wouldn't know love. You know, a lot of good stuff. Does anybody really fall in love anymore? You know, good stuff on here. This was her 19th studio album. And it reached number 10 in the US and number 7 in the United Kingdom. And by topping the charts in Australia, Heart of Stone became Geffen, the label's first international #1 album. I read as of 1991, so you know the data is pretty old. As of that point, it had sold over 4 million copies. So a lot of other people liked it as much as I liked to listening to it again today. See, I don't look at the database, so I get surprises when I pull them off the shelf. Albums or CDs, what I never remember having or haven't listened to in ages. And there's the CD on Geffen Silver. I always try to figure out what's the best price to try to show the CD so it don't reflect so much. But anyway, you can see that there. So that was the first CD, Heart of Stone, a mega 1989 hit by Cher. All right, then the second one for the week is number 32. Let me get this moved over a little bit here on my... This is the 1989 CD also, but it's by Phil Collins called But Seriously. Okay, this was his fourth solo studio album by the English drummer, singer, songwriter. It was a huge commercial success worldwide, reaching _1 in the UK and the US for #1 in the UK and the US for 15 non-consecutive weeks, respectively. It was the best-selling album of 1990 in the UK, eventually selling 2.7 million copies there and 4 million in the US. This was a departure from his previously pop album, where the lyrics are, are about things happening in the world at the time. For example, Another Day in Paradise. That was about homelessness. There was one of the songs on there that was about war in England. I think that's just the way it is. One of them was about war, but they all have some meaning other than the pop songs that he had previously released. And there's another great big hit on there. I wish it would rain down all my life. So I hit the jackpot this week on CDs. Two really, really big sellers and good CDs. And this one here is on the Black Atlantic label. So that was the second CD of the week, another mega hit. This one in 1989 by Phil Collins. But seriously. Well, that brought me to the last album of the week, which is always one out of my collection, the next one out of the collection. And this week's one was number 36. We're still way down there in the old days. And this is, get my notes up. The 1976 compilation by Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show called Revisited. This was his first compilation album by the American country rock band. I'm going to only call its condition of the vinyl as fair. On side one on the first track, there's something, a scratch on there that really pops really bad. It keeps playing, but it pops, and then after the first track, it goes away. Then there's a couple minor lines that cause throughout the rest of the album a little pop now and then. So I would only list that as fair. And why would my albums be that one? Well, I would guess or imagine. I liked it today. It brought back a lot of memories. That this album got played a lot by me, especially at parties. Yeah, it's just the tunes. Do you remember some of this stuff? Sylvia's Mother, Acapella Goldie, Penicillin Penny, the cover of the Rolling Stones, the Queen of the Silver Dollar. These were big hits. And Carry Me Carrie, and Rollin' the Roadie, and Gertrude the Groupie. If you don't know those people, you missed out. Check it out on your streaming channels. This is country rock. And I've got other things by Dr. Hook, too. I really like Dr. Hook back in the days. And I still like him now. But them were in my bigger party days. When I said this came out in 1976, where was I? 76. I had just left Korea, half the year in Korea and half the year at Selfridge Air National Guard Base, which is about 28 miles northeast of Detroit, right on the shores of Lake St. Clair. There's the album. I don't think you can see anything on there. Some of the stuff I had a hard time even seeing myself close up. And like this, see if I can see what this one is popping so bad. I can't even see it here. And I'm going to tag it, give it another deep clean. Probably might not play it again unless I really want to. I'm going to keep it, of course, but if I run across an upgrade, I may pick it up. I'm an upgrade at a decent price. I may pick the upgrade up. Don't forget, go down there and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Put some comments down there. Do you have any of these albums or CDs that I played this week? If not, did you listen to any music this week? If so, what was it? So that was Revisited by Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show in 1976. So that album is 48 years old and it got a lot of wear. That's probably why it's not in very good shape. So anyway, that's spinning number 48 for this week. I thank you for stopping by. SoCalSabre saying take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and stay safe.